Shadow of the Colossus has been out for 21 years and I'm barely getting around to playing it. Releasing in 2005 to the PS2 with several remasters after that, Shadow of the Colossus has to be Game of the Year for me. I cannot explain how good this game is to anyone that has been able to play Shadow of the Colossus, or if you haven't played it in a while, I highly recommend that you somehow get your hands on the game and start playing. This was not a blind first playthrough. I've seen PewDiePie and Jacksepticeye play this game before, but from my first hands-on experience, this game is majestic in all aspects. The scenery, the gameplay, the graphics, the vibes alone carry the whole game for me. The fact that you have a horse companion with you makes the vibes even better. Let me give you a quick summary of what Shadow of the Colossus is. I won't go into the ending, I just want to explain the premise of the game. We start the game with the scene of a stranger riding a horse across a bridge, going into a big structure. Once we get a close-up of the stranger, we can see that he's carrying something wrapped with cloth. The stranger puts down what he's carrying and it's revealed that it's a woman. Shadow figures come out of the ground and the unknown stranger takes out his sword and reflects light to the shadow figures to make them disappear. Then the voice starts speaking to the stranger and we come to find out that the stranger, which by the way we never know his name, but the Shadow of the Colossus community has named this stranger Wander. He knows the presence and Wander refers to him as Dorman. He came to the land to find a spell to revive the woman that he brought. Dorman tells Wander that it's not usual for a mortal soul to be put back after they've lost it. Dorman acknowledges that Wander has an ancient sword. In exchange for the spell, Dorman asks Wander to defeat 16 Colossi. Wander is willing to do anything no matter the cost. After that, you set out on an adventure of defeating Colossi all over the map, which is referred to the Forbidden Land. Each Colossi that you encounter is scattered throughout the region. This is where the game starts. It's a brief introduction, but that's the premise. The horse that you came with, Argo, is your companion during the whole adventure. He's not only your transportation, but he also follows you into battle wherever Argo is able to reach. You are only given a sword and a bow and arrow versus the Colossi ahead of you. The objective is simple. Defeat all 16 Colossi and Dorman will help you. Once you set off into the Forbidden Land, you immediately see how big it is compared to Wander. It makes you look so small compared to everything around you. The chapel that you came out from looks enormous. The bridge that you came across looks like it never ends. Shadow of the Colossus has always been seen as a staple in gaming, no matter how long it's been since release, and in my opinion holds up better in newer games that have come out in recent years. Once you reach the first Colossus, you are immediately shown how large in scale it really is. It makes you think, how are you supposed to take this monster down? There's little to no help when it comes to battle, and you need to figure out how to defeat the Colossus. Every Colossus is different, but what stays the same is the weak points that you have to stab with your sword. The Colossi have bright blue weak points, and it's your job to find out where it is and stab it enough times to bring them down. Each time that you defeat a Colossus, you see them turn into a black mist and enter Wander's body. You are teleported to the chapel where you can see a black silhouette, and each time you defeat a Colossus, the number of silhouettes increases. Also, the icon statues explode and crumble, and Dorman gives you information about the next Colossi. And that's Shadow of the Colossus. You go one by one to each battle, defeating the Colossi. Each Colossi are different. Some are on the ground, flying, in the water, underground. I enjoyed this game so much that I unlocked the Platinum Trophy, and it's still fun for me. Usually when I platinum a game, I immediately delete it from my PS5. The replayability is endless. Every time I finish the game, I immediately started a new game. It's a short game. You can usually beat it around 3 hours if you skip the cutscenes. Either way, I think this is a timeless game that will never go away. I wanted to talk about the improvements in graphics over the years. This game has been around for 2 decades. Across 2 generations of console. Compared to the PS2 to the PS4 remastered version is night and day, but I'm still impressed by the game's graphics back in 2005. The developers did put a lot of effort into the game and it did show. I watched the gameplay of the PS2 version and I still consider it to be way ahead of its time. I'm sure people back in when it first released saw the game as it is now remastered. One thing I do want to say about this game as a first time player, the way you figure out how to defeat the Colossi was not so simple, which I'm not complaining about. I know after a while Dorman gives you some hints about what to do, but there are moments where I'm still lost. This is just a skill issue on my part. I was just wondering how people were beating this game without guides or videos back in 2005. After the third Colossi, I had to look up on YouTube how to defeat most of them. Shadow of the Colossus has 3 difficulties to choose from: easy, normal, and hard. Easy makes it so that you need to stab the Colossi less times to defeat it. Normal makes you stab the Colossi more, and there are 2 blue sigils that you have to target. Hard makes the Colossi take a little less damage from Wander, but also adds another blue sigil in every battle. Shadow of the Colossus does include a time attack mode, which gives you a given time to defeat a Colossi and gives you a reward for every 2 Colossi that you manage to defeat within the time frame. There are different rewards for normal and hard difficulty. Since the hard mode has more sigils, the time that it gives you changes compared to normal difficulty. Finishing the time attacks for both normal and hard are required for the platinum. I want to dive a little deeper into the replayability for Shadow of the Colossus. Like I've said before, you can complete the game in less than 3 hours, but one thing that keeps me coming back is not only the game mechanics, but also the world building. The game mechanics seem simple at first. You have the stamina bar that lets you know how long you can hold on to the Colossi. When you first start, your stamina bar is very low. You can barely hold on for so long. But as you progress, it keeps increasing even after you beat the game. You can continue increasing your stamina in New Game Plus. The fact that Wander's defeating the Colossi and gathering in his body means that he becomes less human over time and grants him unnatural stamina. Also, just like his stamina bar, you can increase your health bar. Around the Forbidden Land, you can find trees that have fruit. You can shoot the fruit down with your arrows, and once you eat them, your health bar increases little by little. But since you're eating fruit in the Forbidden Land, you are slowly becoming less human and getting stronger. I want to dive a little bit into the speedrunning community. Shadow of the Colossus has been out for a long time, and since the game gives you liberty on how you can defeat the Colossi, there have been many discoveries on how to speed up your time to defeat each Colossus. People have found ways to manipulate the physics and allow you to launch yourself from a Colossi's legs to their head in a matter of seconds. It really cuts down the time where you usually have to follow a path to make the Colossi allow you to get on their backs, some including making the Colossi break their armor for them to allow you a pathway, or have them flip over into their backs. These speedrunning techniques have been known since the PS2 console, and they still hold up now. And what makes it even better is that it's not a glitch, it's part of the game where you're just manipulating the physics in order to launch yourself to the Colossi's backs. I highly recommend you check out speedrunning videos. They are so entertaining and motivate you to try it too. Now I want to talk about the world in the Forbidden Land. The region does not have any civilization except for wildlife such as hawks, doves, turtles, and fish. You can actually interact with them. Other than that, there's no one else, just you and the Colossi. The journey to each battle across the region has to be so relaxing. You and Argo going through the map and sightseeing all the mountains and all the different biomes that it has. They have forest, desert, geysers, a water arena, an underground arena. There are so many different places and it doesn't get repetitive at all. Since the land is huge, the game feels long, but it doesn't burn you out while playing it. I just want to emphasize that each Colossus is different in their own way, and I like that. They could have made them similar, but it just goes to show how creative they were when making this game, especially in 2005 when you don't usually see that in new games now. I want to give my opinion on the story without spoiling too much. The story, especially for a game this old, is simple but effective. It gives the player enough information about what Wander's goals are, but also keeping the curiosity by not letting the player know who these people are. We just get thrown into the story about a stranger who has a determination to bring back this woman who we don't even know if she's his sister or lover. We don't know. But we get to know Dorman and that Wander came to the land because he heard that there's a spell that could revive anyone. The only thing that we know about the woman is that she suffered a cursed life and that Wander has an ancient sword which is useful for Dorman and this favor in exchange for the spell. After all that, Shadow of the Colossus is one of the best games that I've ever played and continue to enjoy. The platinum is really fun to go after. I kept replaying the game right after I finished it. Colossi number 13 is my favorite to play. It's so fun and it takes you to the desert biome and it's the only Colossi in the desert, which is criminal. The only complaint that I have is the forest areas. Traversing with Argo in the forest has to be a form of torture. I think the Shadow of the Colossus community feels the same way. Argo slows down to Wander's walking pace and it takes forever to get across. It's the only part that really annoyed me, but it's not an actual complaint because going across the forest is not a big part of the game. Hopefully I gave you a reason to download the game for the first time or play the game again. This is a game that I never knew I needed to play. Shadow of the Colossus is a perfect game to have the exact aesthetics and vibes that I want. Going for the platinum takes you all over the map, even secret places that you couldn't even think to reach. I highly recommend Shadow of the Colossus. And that's the end of the video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know what you think of it. Also leave me a comment down below if you ever played Shadow of the Colossus and what you think of it. I just want to say thank you if you made it to the end of the video. If you want to see videos like this, let me know down below. Please subscribe to the channel, it does help a lot, and thank you for watching.